What's up, everyone? Today we have this Craftsman here. I really don't even think it's been used. It's been outside, obviously, but I don't really think it's been used. If it has, it's been very lightly used. Problem is, owner can't pull on the pull cord. It's completely stuck. He apparently has tried to take the pull cord off and see if that was the problem, but I would doubt that's the problem. So I'm gonna check on the plug here. I'll explain why, but stay tuned to the end. Their fix for this one might not be the fix that you need, but I'll give you a couple other options if we don't get to them on this one. So stay tuned to the end if this doesn't help you. First things first, I want to take out that plug. Now, why do I think we need to take out the plug? Because it's so new. I don't think the motor is going to be seized. It could be, but I want to see what's going on inside there. Plug itself is dry. Let's see if I can pull on the recoil and spin it now. Still can't. So that takes care of the hydro lock issue, so we don't have to worry about that. Then another thing that's kind of making me a little concerned about it is the oil isn't necessarily high, or really high, but it's definitely overfilled. Not by a lot, but enough where I'd cause a little bit of concern. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the recoil now. Just 3 8mm or 5/16. See if this even moves at all. Now that is 100% stuck, but at the same time the brake is on, so let's see, does the brake even come off? Yeah, the brake definitely comes off. And here there's a little brake shoe or pad. It touches the flywheel to turn it off, but still nothing. There is a gap in between the coil, so that would be a concern, but I can see the gap, so there is one. If it was touching the coil, that could be a problem. I think what we need to do now is good pulling on it and see what happens. I'm going to grab a rather large breaker bar to give me a little leverage. Because if it's stuck, it could be weather seized, which just means that there's like gunk or grime or something in the cylinder and it just needs to be moved through its paces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some WD-40. I'm going to put it in the plug hole. Kind of lubricate it so we don't cause any damage that we don't need to. Because really isn't a whole lot that can go wrong with these motors besides what we've already checked. So far, it is not wanting to spin whatsoever. Oh, there we go. Oh. It's literally hitting something. Does it hit it the other way? And it kind of feels like it's hitting something not in the inside of the motor, but on the bottom end of the mower. So sometimes what they'll do, so you have to read the instructions, they will put like these little safety bolts in the bottom and throughout a few different places, so you have to read the instructions. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Let's take a look. Well, do you see the problem? These were never removed. And, well, not removed. Those are the bars for the handle. So what we need to do is we need to take out these on both sides. Let's spin the motor a little bit there. And do the other side. I thought the handle looked super short, but the person that owns this isn't exactly, Shaquille O'Neal. I just figured that was their preferred height. There we go. Now, somewhere there should be a hole that we need to put these in. Can't really tell without a flashlight. I feel like it's coming pretty close. Oh, I see it now. There we go. So I'm going to spend a couple minutes. I have to get these lined up, and then I'll bring you back. I want to put the cover back on just in case. I'll have to put the plug back in. Now, we did fill it with WD-40 in hopes or in thought that we might be dealing with like an issue, obviously, which we were, just not one that WD-40 is going to help us with. But let this be a lesson that when you buy something new, make sure to read the instructions, because in there it will tell you to do this. I'm sure they did that for packaging. Now, I'm going to pull up on the pull cord. Engine moves freely. I'm going to put the pull cord in its little spot to see if the motor was good. Because you don't want to go through the hassle of selling it, packaging, all that. If the motor's bad. So, let's give it a pull, see what happens. Well, we discovered another problem. That blade is completely not balanced at all. But that could be the shaft. I don't know. But it runs now. So that's good. That's the basics of the video. So what else would we have done at this point? If it wasn't for the handles, if I felt something knocking around there, I would take the valve cover off, make sure that the valves were properly in their seated position. Sometimes what can happen is either junk or the valve seat themselves. The valve seat is the surface that the valve will rest on or make contact with. Will come out as a piece of hardened steel. Head is aluminum, so they put it in there to increase the longevity of it. That their dissimilar metals will start to expand at different rates at some point, and sometimes can fall out. Happens not too much on these, but it is a possibility, of course. Next thing, the one I thought originally it was going to be was hydrolock. The fuel, the fuel from the carburetor overfills the carburetor. It goes inside the piston cylinder, or just the cylinder, not the piston, and then you can't move it because it's hydrolocked. Air compresses, fuel doesn't, not very well at least. And if that wasn't it, I've already checked the oil. Like I said, it was definitely a fill, but not full, or overfilled, but not super full. I would see if it was low, and if it isn't low, if it's brand new, and if we weren't looking at a brand new mower, then I should think that someone ran it low on oil and then put a little more in there in hopes to keep it running, and it didn't work. Your engine's toast at that point. We talked about the coil being rusted to it. We didn't have any rust, or the coil could just have became loose and got caught in maybe the magnet and causing it to be hung up. That's a possibility. Other than that, those are really the main ones. You might find something real obscure every now and then, but that's it. So I'm going to take that blade off and balance it. I have videos on that. If you like what you see, keep watching and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at smallengine101. If you have any questions about what we've done today, definitely leave a comment below. If this helped you out at all, make sure to put a thumbs up because that helps me out a lot. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.